Hello again, this is part 2 of Experience of Chris. For the sound purists out there, you'll be glad to know I'm inside today. I kind of like the sound of nature and wind passing and everything, but I can understand it's difficult to make out everything that I've said. So today I'm inside and I'm talking about the rest of what happened to me in 2003 on St John's Avenue. So where I left off last time, I was somewhere else, and like before, I've got my laptop here. I'm just going to scroll down to the right place. Yes, the next thing I remember was being in a small to medium sized room, and a feeling of closeness, of I don't know, heat or possibly radiation, or I don't know, but it was very close, very almost like sulphur like, and I haven't felt anything like that since. The next thing I remember was a very tall, large alien, red in colour, looked very kind of muscly, very tall, straight. I couldn't make out the face first of all, and it was red. I would estimate that it was around 8 feet tall, maybe. Very large entity. And the entity grabbed me by this end, by the left arm, and pulled me over to some kind of seat, very small seat, and just put me on the seat. Yeah, I'm just going to refer to the notes now. Yeah, I noticed that my eyes were hazed by this, very hazed. And the alien then introduced itself as Shiva, and lots of other different names too. The list went on with names, and I can't remember all the names. The alien was very aggressive to me. It grabbed my throat and pushed me right back and said, I could kill you. And at which point I was totally petrified. I mean, it looked like, and I looked at the face, and it looked a bit like the devil. Didn't look very nice, very malevolent. And I do say to people out there, if this craft does appear, it is worth going, running, because I didn't experience a very good experience with this craft, but I'm not afraid of this entity. I want people to know that. And I was petrified. The alien said, I could kill you. I'm not, because you're beautiful. And then let go. His hand from my throat. The alien then had a Chinese finger trap, and the alien put the finger trap on my finger. And I was trying to escape from it, and I found it difficult, and I just couldn't. And it was almost like it was enjoying whatever it was doing. Right, just scrolling down. It's very tough for me talking about this experience, because it was very frightening, and you kind of relive it as I'm telling this. It's quite difficult for me, but I want to go through this. It's important that I do. right, the next thing I remember was the pain throughout my whole body. Uh, and Shiva said, "Look into my eye." And as I looked at the alien, an eye appeared in the forehead of the alien, and um, it was vertical, and the eye opened, and I closed my eyes because I didn't want to look, but the alien must have had telepathy or something, control over me, because I couldn't shut my eyes, and I was staring at this eye, and at that point completely blanked out, and it felt like I was being stretched or some kind of pain or something. Maybe something to do with the soul. But anyway, I came to, and nobody was about, and I was sort of looking around, and I saw at the corner of the room there were 3 entities, and one was sort of really curious. I think the middle one was quite curious, but I couldn't make them out. And then the alien returned, and then it's strange, there was some kind of ritual that went on, and it felt like they did this many times before. So I think this experience has happened to many other people. I don't know how many people out there who've gone through this experience, but it felt like they've done this, and it was like, oh, do we have to do this ceremony again? It felt that way, the way that they were saying it. But anyway, they did the ceremony, and it was a dance around me, and it was sort of very hard to describe. Very much like the Lord of the Dance, and the alien danced around me. Right. Yes. After that, this is sort of coming towards the end now of this experience. I was still in the chair, and the red alien came over again to me, and had a glass, I believe, and full of something. I think it was a glass or a cup or something. Anyway, the alien forced me to drink the glass, so I drank this big glass of whatever it was, and so I consumed that. I was asked then to stand up to get my clothes together. My shirt was hanging off, so I buttoned my shirt up, but I had one of the buttons in a different position. You know, when you have it, it's not done up, one of them's down, it should be done up properly. And the alien sort of looked at that and thought, you know, sort of smirked. I didn't do it up properly, but anyhow. Then what happened was, I was escorted to along a wall, and there were pods. There were at least 3 or 4 of these pods, and the red alien took me to one specific pod, and said, "You could be him." And I looked in the pod, and what I saw was a black-haired person, and I couldn't make out the face. Hunched forward, black hair, sort of jet black, and I was totally petrified through the whole experience. And after that, the red alien then took me. It was like a pole, and I was told to hold on to this pole. So I held on to this pole, and I don't know, maybe there was an onboard computer, because I sensed something was there that was doing the work, doing some kind of work for these aliens, and they told me to hold still, so I held still as I could, and then suddenly I wasn't there anymore. Suddenly I was in midair, completely in midair, and barely conscious. I could hardly. It really took a lot of strain out of my body and my soul and everything. And I was in midair, barely conscious, and I then hit the ground, and I think I may have bumped my head. I think maybe they did it intentionally or whatever, I don't know. Yes, that's basically it. I'm sure there's a few details here and there that I've left out again, but I will be publishing this. What's very interesting is there was, after it all happened and the craft left, a man came over to me, and it makes me think that there's been foreknowledge this was going to happen, because he seemed to know what he was doing. He had some smelling salts. He was trying to make me conscious because I was completely out, and but I seemed to regain consciousness. He managed to help me regain consciousness and everything. How would I describe him? He was quite tall, well built. He was wearing black with a black hat. And he said, "Right, I'll take you home now. I'll take you home." So he lifted me up, picked me up, and he said, "Where do you live? Point the direction home." And so I pointed where I lived. So up the road, point that way. So we went that way. Where is it now? Point this way. There now. Point that way. It's there now. And along the route, there were a couple of people walking shortly before I reached home who saw this. I remember very vaguely, but I definitely remember this. There were two witnesses, a man and a woman, I believe, saw me, and he said, "Oh, he's drunk. Oh, don't worry, he's just drunk, you know." And then I heard him utter, I hope they don't recognise me." Whether that's vanity, I don't know. Anyhow, reached home, and this man threatened me. He said, "If you're not going to talk about this, you don't ever talk about this." And I think it's really important that we do talk about this, because there are many people around the world that have had this experience, and we can kind of bring a understanding and knowledge about this. I don't think it's a bad thing, even though I believe they're evil entities. They don't deserve to be flying that thing. Excuse me, I'm a bit croaky today. It's been a very long day. It's just coming up 25 to 11. So yes, I think it's good that people talk about these things and get it out there, and we try to form some kind of understanding. And back to this man. I think he may have took a sample from me, maybe a blood sample, and he threatened me, and he had a pendant, and I think it was St. David's Star of David pendant, and he said something like, "Oh, you should be protected." And anyway, he left me there in the back garden. I blanked out, and I think I might have got up once, but I kind of blanked out again. And that following morning, I woke up in the back garden, and I just couldn't remember the night before. Like I said in part one of the video, sometimes it takes time to recall, and this took 2 or 3 days to recall, and it was quite a petrifying experience when I recalled it, because it was extremely frightening. Yes, the morning when I was in the garden, when I awoke in the garden, the morning after, I noticed, which going back to part one, the experience I had in 1980 with the 3 dots back in my head. Well, this experience in 2003, I had 3 dots on my left arm, and that disappeared after 3 or 4 days. Faded, and it's very interesting, because a day or two after the experience, there was a black van parked down the road. This was a top of the range. I think it was a Mercedes or a BMW van, top of the range. Looked like it came straight out the showroom. Looked like it was bulletproof. And there were people in the van, and I thought it strange, and I avoided them. I kind of sneaked out the back and jumped over the fence to get food, but that van left. Also, I think I saw somebody else who's in the public eye, very predominant, walking up the road towards me, who kind of smiled and then went like that, and well, that says it all about those kind of people. Anyhow, that was the 2003 experience, and right, okay, finally, to finish off with, and this is probably going to be a bit more easygoing for me, because I don't really like to relive these things. Finally, to finish off with, I'm going to talk about a short story script that I wrote in 1991. And I don't know what it is. I don't know whether I'm a lucky monkey that types away. There's a theory that if you give a monkey a typewriter and you give the monkey an infinite amount of time, the monkey will eventually write the complete works of Shakespeare. You probably may have heard this before at home. Excuse me. But to come up with something that is exactly the same. When I was younger, I was into story writing and writing little stories, and sci-fi too. I've always been interested in Gene Roddenberry's work, and watching the films with my dad and my sisters when I was younger. It's really good fun. And so I came up with an idea one night. I thought about Voyager, and possibly having a series called Voyager. This was in '91. I had no kind of basis to start it from. It was just an idea I had, and I thought, well, somebody's probably had. Even at the time, I thought somebody's probably had this idea already. But anyway, I thought, well, let's write it, and I came up with the characters, Catherine Janeway, and it's really good because today is International Women's Day, and yeah, I thought, well, it's a good thing having, because I've always thought that women can do just as good a job as men at most jobs, and I mean, okay, there is things like bringing a child up and stuff like that, but a friend of mine in London, his wife works, and he brings his kid up. I think she works for the Financial Times, and he's a great bloke. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I do believe in equality, and so I put Catherine Janeway as captain. I created Chakotay, the North American Indian, Balana Torres, Tom Paris, Tuvok. In fact, my stepdad, who read the script, criticised me and said, "Oh, you shouldn't be putting a woman as captain." And Tuvok, that sounds too much like Spock, and how wrong is he? I mean, whatever happened, it's such a. If they have taken the idea from me or haven't, it's an incredible thing, and I just still can't believe it to this day. It's like a wow, like I said in part one. It's interesting too because Nick Pope of the MOD, who's helped me over the years, who's an expert in ufology. I believe he's over in Tucson, in America. Even he's written science fiction too. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that these things are picked up on, and yeah, it's a very interesting thing. Right, to finish off with, I'd like to thank some other people as well. Yes, my friend David Howard, who's helped me for many years now up in London, and he's a great guy, and watch his videos, he's brilliant, and of course Nick Pope. Also Connecting Consciousness, I'm a member, and I'd like to thank them, Becky and Simon Parks, brilliant people, and yes, all the people that have stood by me all this time. Thank you very much. It's a big thank you. And okay, I think the next video I'll do will be about dreams, which is something that is a lot more easygoing now. Now I've got this alien thing out of the way, and so yes, look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you very much. Thank you.